it was like a wide range of emotions, you know. It was like I kind of went through a lot of different pieces of it, you know. But yeah, and it's like once I left, I went and like gardened with my friend and like had a really great time, and then I could like reflect upon it, and I was like, that was really healthy. But it seemed like something I needed to like get through. I just didn't know if anyone else like felt that way when they were in those classes, and I thought it was really challenging, the work that we were doing too, which I appreciated. But it was a really hard class, I felt like, which is good.
And you learned the chin span, and that. Like I was getting emotional watching you do it because that's so
Really? I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't hurt anything lower back wise. Like it was,
Keep going.
I tried. So it was good. I appreciated reading.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, that's really interesting. Keep me posted as it like unravels. I wonder how hips will feel.
I just wanted to mentally prepare myself.
Yeah. I think something
like this and sobbing.
It's possible. Something that's a little bit different about the hips, though, is that it's like opening that is nurturing, right? Is there something nurturing about it? And we'll talk about like the energetics of this space in a little bit, but it's not quite so, like it is, but it's comforting. That's why it's that love-hate thing, right? It's like that mixture of like, you love to hate it kind of deal, right?
And I have to say that I appreciate you sharing with us because I was feeling a little stranded. I'm going through all these different emotions. To know that the journey is also shared with other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That we are going through these emotions and opening your heart, or, you know, whatever chakra that may be for you or positions, you know, allow you. It's comforting for me to know other people are experiencing that as well.
Awesome. So, okay, cool. So we're going to talk about it from an anatomy point of view first. So, yeah, were you going to say something? All right. So anatomy point of view first. Do you guys realize that the hips are not a body part?
We had so many questions.
Right. You guys probably, I'm sure Alyssa said that, right? Like the hips are a region, not a body part. So the way that I teach the hips, the way I like to look at the hips right now, because of course everything's subject to change. That hat looks so cute on you, by the way.
Thanks.
It's like amazing. Is I teach it in 5 compartments. Okay, so 5 compartments of the hips. I like looking at it this way because we just understand the general region a little bit better. Okay, and this will plug in, I think, in ways to your anatomy knowledge already. And yeah, like I said, feel free to take notes. I know you guys love to do that. If you want to not take notes, that's okay too.
That was your first hint,
Right? All down, every word.
It's okay. I'm like that too. It's like I miss being in school, so I'm like I want to take notes every chance I can. All right, cool. So,
Are we supposed to be on a section or no?
nope.
Okay.
So let's see here. I kind of want to move the iPad. Meh, screw it.
Having the iPad over this weekend especially, it really helped me to just be present and watch the hands-on assist and watch Marisha and watch Claire, and then I wasn't like missing how the assist affected the body.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
I loved knowing that we were going to have it.
Good. Okay, I'm glad that helps. Sweet. So I'll figure out a way that this is accessible to all of you guys. I will tell you right now that when we're filming in the studio, it's a little echoey.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay, so.
The visual too helps.
Yeah, totally. So something I want to talk about real fast before we dig in, just because we have the time, is I was talking to Mala about this after she observed one of my classes, and maybe some of you guys heard. But as far as, this is a little bit of a tangent, but I want to go there anyway. So as far as sequencing your own classes, okay, when you are, don't feel like you have to master this concept right now, but when you are sequencing for a peak posture, okay, one thing, like I like to do everything with formulas, and that way I know I have all of my boxes checked, and then I can be as creative as I want, okay? So that's kind of like the function of formulas and the ones you've learned for me so far, So another formula that I have is kind of the way in which I sequence a class and make sure that my peak series or peak posture is prepped for. Okay, so the way that I do that, and I'm telling you this because this is kind of how we're going to look at the hips. Someone give me a peak pose. Dancers, good. Okay, so when I have my peak, the way that I prep, and like this is like I haven't done anything. All I know is that I want to teach dancers pose, okay? I used to do this more, now it kind of happens naturally, but I used to actually write this in my teaching journal. What do I need to stretch? What do I need to strengthen? Okay, so let's do it together. Dancers pose, what do we need to stretch?
Yeah.
Good.
Shoulders. Quads. Oh.
Good, you guys. Wow, I'm so impressed. Anything else? What's up? Yes, yes. So I would say that's a stretch and a strengthen.
Would that be like abdominal stretch?
I would say more core. I mean, yes, the abs are, I would not,
Limit it to the abs.
yeah,
Just
I wouldn't like go out of my way to stretch the core. I would, because it's going to stretch anyway. What we need to do is strengthen it, right? So shoulder we got, hip flexor we got, quad we got, other shoulder here. Pretty good, right? Let's just say spine just for kicks. And what do we need to strengthen?
Spine again.
Yes.
Hamstrings. I'm thinking more like king dances. Would you
Hamstrings are good.
either way?
Hamstrings are good. I mean, yeah.
Abdominal core.
Core, yep. What else? It's a standing posture, it's a balancing posture, so what do we need to strengthen?
Well, that's your core,
Side
right?
butts.
Both
Glutes.
side rotation.
I would say glutes, like in this, I feel like in yoga poses these days, all anyone wants to talk about is what's lifted, no one wants to talk about what's grounded, right? But the more that you strengthen the standing leg, right, so you can think about like I'm moving the entire flesh on the outside of my left leg backwards, so it's mostly glutes, right? It's mostly glutes. Good. So from here on out, I would then, so now I have, okay, this is the body parts that we're working with. Make sense? From here, now I'm gonna say, okay, how do I stretch the hip flexors? Give me a pose or two.
Running line.
I heard crescent moon and runners. Okay, let's move on. Shoulders.
We did this thing.
This, and it's this. Huh? Poppy, good.
And even downward dog. Just lazy bend.
If you make it intentional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. But you know down dog is probably going to be in there anyway, right? So try to think about, like, we're thinking about poses that are going to make up the substance of our class, right? So for me, I would say maybe,
I think you could do both with it, like crescent moon with a quad stretch. Like reaching behind.
yeah, so here we would just go like quad stretch variations. For here, you guys, I would work some binds in for the shoulders. That's probably how I would go about it. Binds to get this front shoulder.
In like warrior two.
In anything, warrior 2, crescent lunge, warrior 1, prasarita. Okay, lots of options. Spine, how might we go about stretching the spine safely? Yeah, it's like a little stretch and a little strength, right? We'll just leave it there. Okay, strengthen, how are we gonna strengthen the spine other than cobra? Yeah, let's twist, that's a good idea. how are we gonna twist? Give me something. Prayer twist. Right? It's called prayer twist. Okay? Good. You can do multiple things, right? Because you've got a whole class to sequence. All right, what else? What else? Now we have hamstrings. How are you going to strengthen the hamstrings? That's an interesting one. But also halfway lift, yes. But you're going to do that anyway.
Okay.
What's like a
goddess? Like when you're doing star, would that be strengthening?
I would say that's more quads.
Oh, that's quads. Okay.
But good. So for dancer's pose for hamstrings, you guys, since you're also prepping balance, how about like an airplane? Right, because I'm using my hamstring to keep my lifted leg up. So we'll do some planes. Is this helpful to see how you might build a class? Okay.
Is tiger pose where you're on all fours with one lifting?
That's amazing. That's a really good one
Amber's idea.
for spine. I would call that, you can call it tiger or kneeling dancer.
Kneeling dance.
That's great. That's really good. You know why? Is because when you guys are prepping for a peak pose, you always want to seek out that's another question you could ask here at the very beginning. What looks like dancers? Tiger.
What is tiger?
Yeah.
I'll show you. Side plank with a bind. Right? These are poses that look like dancers, so we're going to get the student in their bodies ready, in their minds, for the peak, right? So side plank, right? You can take a modified side plank variation with a bound foot. Kneeling tiger, you're gonna do a bunch of spinal extension first, right? Which is building strength in the spine and the core. And then you're gonna move into tiger, which you grab the inside of the foot and kick.
Okay.
That's technically like a kneeling tiger, right? I teach this all the time, but big tiger is with the leg lifted. It's like one of my favorite parts. Okay, tiger. Grease feels good, huh? Okay, hamstrings plain, or anything like that, okay? Anything balancy like that. Yeah, I would say, yeah, totally. Core, any ideas for core? Everything, for sure. Core series, yep. Core series, and maybe give me like a core pose. Good, that's what I was looking for. Why not? Okay, and then how are we going to strengthen the glutes? Yes, chair, right? Utkatasana is right, but yeah, that's amazing. Chair. That's exactly what I was thinking. What else? I have another one in mind that's teaching to glutes and also working on balance. Good. Not what I was thinking, but close.
Figure four.
Yeah, standing splits is good, but I would say that's more of a stretch for the hamstrings. I mean, it's glutes too. I'm thinking here, it works, Ginny.
Yeah.
It works. So Shiva squat, or I was thinking one leg Tadasana. My handwriting, whatever. Right? Because that's how they're going to have to prep for the pose anyway, is one-legged Tadasana. So now I'm like, okay, cool. It's time to build my class. I got all these poses to figure out how to link together. Now it's not just like, let me start at Sun A. It's like, oh, here's all the puzzle pieces. Let's tie them together. Make sense?
So is that just for the peak pose series, or is that for the whole class?
So this is the whole entire class that you design is going to support and create the most success for the peak pose or series, right? So these poses are for the whole entire class leading up to this.
Gotcha.
Whether your crescent moon comes in Sun A or Sun B or Sun B2 or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's up to you, right? So you get to pick where that goes in. It's literally like a puzzle, and this is where it gets creative. It's like, okay, now here are the poses. I connect the dots. As a teacher, that's my job, is to connect the dots with safety and intention. Okay? Questions before we move forward? Does anyone have like a napkin? or something.
How's that?
Can I use it?
I don't know where that came from. I manifested that.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God. Does anybody need to like take this, or are we good? You want to take a picture?
Oh, yeah.
It's really messy. It's not that profound. I won't be offended if you're not. Okay, I'll save it. Cool. So this is how I started building my classes, because stretch, strengthen. It's just like it's the fundamentals. Okay. And it's just fun to do this in your journal. It's just a very fun exercise. Okay, and you will increase your knowledge of all this stuff by doing this exercise. All right. Oh, that doesn't really work.
So is that kind of, I heard Alyssa say, or maybe it was you, like new teachers just want to fit everything into class, fit everything into the, when they first start teaching?
Yeah.
So I can see like, being like, yes!
I mean, I'm still like that. I'm like OCD, like I want my class to look like this, and it's going to, right? It works for me sometimes. But okay. But yes, it's true that like I could totally simplify. I just love like the puzzle. Like I love when it comes together, right? I could detach from that a little. All right. So 5 compartments of the hips, yeah? First compartment. Hip flexors. Everyone knows where the hip flexors are? Front of the hip, okay? So hip flexors, basically their job is that they rotate the front of the pelvis towards the thighs. Okay, front of the pelvis towards the thighs. So you know that they're active then in forward folds and core, right? Because look, tipping pelvis towards the thighs, forward fold. It's the same thing in core, right? The pelvis is tipping towards the thighs. The hip flexors are responsible for this. So they're very relevant in walking.
Not
Okay.
rotating.
Rotating? Hip flexors are just here. Oh, and this? No. We have them. We'll get to it. Okay, so hip flexors are just the front. Now, almost all